liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Robinson and Wright. My name's Dan Wright, and Rick is taking care of some family stuff tonight. Pretty much, he's at a football game. Hope his son's team is doing well. It's the district championships. And joining me tonight in his place is Bill O'Keefe at Defend Wall Street on Twitter. And how you doing tonight, Bill?
A lot more sober than I was an hour ago.
Well, thank you for sobering up and joining me tonight.
I didn't really have anything else to do, so. Plus, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing this tonight. Nobody told me until like an hour ago.
Yeah, well, you're here. I followed your Twitter feed tonight a little bit. You were getting stared at.
Yeah, I was getting stared at the bar. Oh my God, I almost punched that guy in the face. I was so lit tonight. Like, I don't know. There's this guy that comes into the bar. I mean, I don't really want to, like, crap.
Dwell on it.
I don't want to, like, take up a lot of airtime on that. But, I was at the bar, and there's this kind of guy who sort of looks like Milton from Office Space, and only he's got, like, a tan and stuff, and
cool glasses.
He comes into the... He kind of... Well, he's got the same glasses I do, actually. And he comes into the bar and
Wait, I said cool glasses.
Yeah, that's okay. You don't have to save it now. So he kind of comes in and he's just sort of... I don't know, he's just kind of a creepy dude. Like, usually he just kind of stares off into la-la land. But, like, tonight, he was... He purposely sat next to these two... There were two couples sitting at the bar, and then there were two on the right side of the bar, and then he sat in between both couples, and it was just kind of odd that he sat there. And then he's sitting there, and he's drinking this one little tiny little girly drink, and he's just staring at me right across from the bar, and I just kept telling my friend, I'm like, dude, keep staring at me. I'm going to go over there. I'm just going to bust this glass in his face. Like, because, like, he, like I said, I mean, I'm a regular in this place. I'm there 3-4 nights a week. I've seen this guy before. He's just weird. And, sometimes when you're kind of drunk and it's 4 days before the election, you're just like, I don't really want to tolerate this dude today.
Yeah.
Listen, Frico, I'm not really interested in your particular brand of weird today. I don't have tolerance for it.
I don't have tolerance for much these days, and I know we want to touch on the upcoming election, but
I want to read some drunk tweets.
I wanted to ask you if you saw it. Did you see Lena Dunham's little cartoon today that she posted?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, apparently all white men need to be crushed.
Oh, I said that was from yesterday.
Yesterday, you're right. It was yesterday.
Yesterday. She did that. Yeah. I didn't know what you meant. Yeah, when you said comic, I didn't know what you meant. Yeah, she did that yesterday with her dad. It was like, all white men have to be, the world would be better without straight white men.
Correct.
But I mean, without straight white men, where would gay white Lena come from?
Exactly. And without straight white men, there would be no white people. Which I guess she's saying that the white privilege that these people think that we have and they have is ridiculous. I see that, and I said it today when I saw that. I work 60 to 70 hours a week. I've raised 4 children, all of which are doing great. My oldest daughter just graduated from college. I pay my taxes. I rarely take a vacation, but I have white privilege. Can you tell me where the privilege is in what I just said?
I would love to know.
The privilege is 4 beautiful children that are all doing well.
That's maybe the privilege. That's the upshot there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, that's my life. My life is
making sure that my kids grow up and have what they need and get what they need and hopefully become productive members of society.
What I don't understand is Social Security. And I mean, I know that that's sort of an issue that like a lot of people don't want to talk about. And,
I'll talk about it.
Well, I want to talk about it at great length, but my grandfather was kind of an old-fashioned dude. I mean, he grew up right after the Depression. He was born in 1934, so I guess he would be like 83 or 84 this year if he was still alive. And, my grandfather never counted on Social Security being there for him. I mean, even though my grandfather was a Democrat, a hardcore Union Democrat, he never thought Social Security was there for him, period, ever. I mean, he never, ever thought that he could count on Social Security for anything. And, in his house, it was sort of a traditional 30s, 40s, 50s kind of thing, I mean, he went out and he worked, and my grandmother didn't. And, they saved money away for retirement. There was, and my grandfather worked until he was 77. In fact, that's what killed him. It was the fact that, he was just too damn stubborn to stop working.
Well,
but you listen to Hillary Clinton, and she says, well, people shouldn't work all their life and retire in poverty. It's like, dude, what, did you not have the option to save money? Because my grandfather wasn't the smartest guy in the world. Sorry, Grandpa. He wasn't the smartest dude alive. He wasn't the swiftest guy in the world. He wasn't even really the hardest working guy in the world. But I think he saved something like $100,000 for retirement. And I was really shocked about that. When he died, we found out that he had like $110,000 in the bank. I had no idea. I would never have guessed that in my life in a million years. But he had it in a retirement fund. And, it just, I don't know. It just seems odd, like this, I always thought it was strange when Democrats would say stuff like that. Like, if you work your whole life, you shouldn't have to live in poverty. Dude, why didn't you save for retirement then?
Well, but like, the thing is
crippled your whole life?
We have this Social Security system that is literally bankrupt. And if you look at your paycheck, a huge portion of what you're paying in taxes is Social Security tax. And your employer is paying a match to that.
Correct.
And if I had that money, and if they had structured it right, where you could take that, and I'm not even saying it was mandatory, but an option, where you take that and it's automatically drawn out of your check and invested privately, how you decide you want it invested, I'd probably
it
be
shouldn't
retired.
even be withdrawn from your check. You should do it yourself.
Yeah, I'd be retired already with what I've paid in. I'd be retired already. You'd be retired. You'd be close. You're what?
Nah, I'm not that old, dude.
I know you're not, but you'd be probably close 30, because you're 30. Okay,
not that
you
old.
got 5. You'd have 5 more years. What I paid into it by the time I was
10, yeah.
What I paid into it by the time I was 35 years old, I'd be retired at 35. I mean, that's seriously how bad the Social Security system is. If I had that money to invest on my own, I mean, I'm not saying maybe I wouldn't have made all the right investments, but I'm pretty conservative on how I would have invested. The system is broken. I'm going through a divorce. I'm going to work. I'm going to be like your grandfather. I'm going to work until the day I die. And it's not from not saving. I had savings. I had a retirement account. That retirement account is gone via divorce. So I'm 48. I'm 48. I'm 48 years old with no retirement right now.
A lot of people work until they're 78, 80 years old just because they want to too. So
yeah.
I mean, my grandfather probably. I mean, my uncle retired when he was 70, I think, or 71. I mean, we had to talk him into it. Like, I mean, he owned a printing business, and, everything's pretty much, everybody had printers in their own houses, and he wasn't really getting any businesses and stuff. So it was like, dude, just retire. You got enough money. And he was like, I don't really want. You just go to the shop and watch TV anyway, so just retire.
Well,
a lot of people, it's a sense of purpose for them too.
The company I work for right now, I was brought into it by the father of the owner, and the father of the owner owned a manufacturing company, which was our main line. And when I was in DC, he was my sales rep. He had sold the company and stayed working for them. He was my sales rep. We built a friendship, and he recommended me for my job down here in North Carolina. Well, I came down here. That company that he worked for, that he used to own, got sold. He came to work for us. He didn't have to work. He worked for us until he was almost 85 years old. Until he just couldn't. Until he passed away this year. But he worked for us till he was almost 85 years old because he loved the camaraderie of the customers that we had, because they were his customers when he owned the old company. And he loved it. He would get into his old 85 Buick station wagon that he had, which he could have owned a freaking Cadillac, a brand new one, but he still drove this old 85 Buick station wagon, and he drove around and called on customers and sold for us because he loved going and seeing them and taking them out to lunch. That was his thing. He did that up until almost the day he died.
Okay, so I want to read some mean tweets. Well, I call them drunk tweets. So this one is from at Governor Mike Huckabee. Trump may be a car wreck, but at least his car is pointed in right direction. Hillary is a drunk driver going the wrong way on the freeway. It's a good one.
Huckabee.
So I got another one from Sean Hannity here. Where'd it go? Kind of lost it here a second ago. Crap, this usually doesn't happen. Here we go. Oh, I deleted it, damn. That sucks. Anyway.
Well, you could literally pick any given night with
Hannity.
Yeah,
I know.
If he's on
Friday or Saturday night, his tweets
you can just read and read and read. He's insane.
I know.
He's just
Sean
insane.
Hannity is quickly becoming one of my favorite parody accounts next to Bill Mitchell.
Mitchell blocked me. I can't see it anymore.
Oh, he blocked me like 4 months ago. I'm really annoyed by that. But, when I come on here, we rag on Trump a lot. And, the thing I don't understand is there's something going on tonight that I want to talk about. And, I'm looking at Politibunny's feed, and, she makes an interesting point, which is that, a couple of years ago, just 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, the lines were pretty well defined, right? Republicans here, Democrats there, yada, yada, yada. Well, now people who used to understand what it means to be a Republican don't really seem to understand that anymore. And, I'm not going to call anybody out specifically, but, I had three good examples in the last week of people telling me, look, I can't vote for Hillary, so I'm reluctantly voting for Trump. To which I unfollowed them and said, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Look, here's the deal. Trump abuses women. He abuses kids. He's a piece of crap. He's no good. 4 years ago, he was talking about banning guns outright in New York City. 7 years ago, he was talking about banning assault weapons. You know, we have a Republican nominee right now who is essentially a Democrat. I mean,
not essentially. He just is a Democrat.
Well, I mean, he does have some ideas that are not necessarily in line with, Democrat thinking. But, at this point right now, we're 4 days away from the election. We're 4 days away. At this point, if you can still swallow your pride and say, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, I don't really want to know you. I don't really want to know you because there's something very, very wrong with you. There just is. There's something really wrong with you. If you really, truly believe, look, the Republican Party defeated communism, it defeated slavery, it defeated segregation, and how on earth could you possibly put this guy into the same office that was occupied by Reagan and Lincoln? How could you do it? How could you do it with a straight face? It's just absolutely unconscionable to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna call two very particular people out on this. I'll tell you what. One very particular person, Nick Searcy.
I was about to call the same person out because if you look at my feed on Twitter,
friend of Nick. I was a really, really good friend to Nick. He had a lot of hard times with the Trump guys at the very beginning because if you don't know, he has an interracial family. And the Trump guys went after that like dogs on raw meat. They called his children all kinds of unconscionable words. Words I'm not even going to repeat on here. Words I won't even repeat in private. And Nick was so frustrated by the level of abuse being hurled at him by these people, he reached out to people, and eventually he deleted his Twitter account because he just couldn't stand it anymore. And then 3 months ago, he says, well, to me, if you're not going to vote for Trump, you're voting for Hillary. I said, are you kidding me? I said, did you forget what this dude did to your family? Did you forget what these people did to you? And now you're going to say, hey, this is fine?
When he was getting attacked, I jumped in one night and I took abuse for like 3 days because I really literally took people off of his back and put them on my back. I took abuse for like 3 days. When he came out and he followed me. I always followed him. I didn't care if he followed. He followed me. He appreciated it. I saw that as appreciation. And he came out and said exactly what you just said. He came out and basically said he's in the Trump camp, and if you're not voting for Trump, you're voting for Hillary. And I called him on it, and he literally put people on me, and I got abused for 3 days, and he unfollowed me. And I was like, really? Well, tonight I gave him a little bit back again. I just did.
Oh, well, go look at. I won't say what I won't repeat on air what I said to him, but you can go and look at my timeline. You can see what I said to him because I was pretty.
I ran it on him. I went on like a 7-tweet rant on him. I mean, really, I basically told him. I said, I helped you. I didn't expect help from you when I got attacked, but
no, I didn't.
But then I said, but then when I called you on it, on the Trump thing. You sicked people on me. He literally did. He literally had minions just go after me. And I was like, you know what? I said, you used to be one of my favorite follows, and you used to be one of my favorite actors, and you're nothing to me anymore. You're just nothing.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, I'll be really honest with you. I mean, if he were on fire, I wouldn't pee on him to put him out. I mean, I would just let him burn. I don't understand what's wrong with that guy.
I saw somebody say, I thought it was going to go that way the other day, and I don't remember who it was about, but I saw somebody say along the lines what you just said, but they said, oh, I would pee on him just because I know I was peeing on him. I just, it really, it just, I don't get it. You know, a lot of these people, and I won't name any more names, but people that I still have, I get it.
Kurt
I mean,
Schlichter.
I want, yeah, and I mean, and he and I we're friends. I mean, on Facebook.
No,
and
not
everything
me
else.
anymore. Not me.
I just
Screw him.
I ignore it. I totally ignore it.
I'm more cold-hearted than you. Look, people know the rules. Here's the deal. The Constitution is more important than you or me or anybody listening to this show. The Constitution represents something. It is the greatest thing ever put down on paper with a pen since the Bible. And the Constitution means more to me that I would sacrifice your life to keep it. I would. And that's just how it is. And it is objectionable to me that as a Republican who claims he believes in the Constitution, people like Kurt Schlichter can say, yeah, I'm going to vote for a dude that's going to burn the damn Constitution because journalists, they just got too much freedom.
Well, that's their whole thing. It's they want to do
this crap.
They want a guy in office that's going to burn the Constitution to somehow save the Constitution. That's what I don't get. It's, you know,
just shred the Constitution just a little bit. Shred it just a little bit so that we can do the things to the Muslims that they do to us. Shred it just a little bit so that Vladimir Putin will rape us all. Because that's basically what they're doing.
To squelch the media. Shred it just a little bit. Now, I don't love the media. I don't. But what are you going to... I mean, literally...
Donald Trump wants to...
Donald Trump's...
They're not the media.
Right. Trump wants to control the media. You can't control the media, whether you agree with it or not. I don't agree with most of the mainstream media. I don't agree. I actually, at this point, if you put Fox in the picture, I don't agree with any mainstream media. But you can't government control the media. If you government control the media, you have become a communist state.
And you become Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
Putin's Trump's favorite country. Hey, but we're at 11:30 here, so Jesse's going to tell us we got to take a break, pay some bills and stuff.
Yes, we do. It is time to pay the bills.
I was just about to bug you guys, so good call.
Yep. No.
I
remember. I'm watching the clock. I got a stopwatch.
Hopefully, I haven't been too goofy with my sound effects tonight, but I have been having a little bit of fun.
I noticed.
All right, guys, we gotta pay them bills. We will see you guys. We'll be back with Robinson Wright on the other side.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Go, guys. We are back. Thank you guys for hanging in there while we paid those bills. And I am going to turn this show back over to Bill and Dan Wright because they're doing such a fantastic job.
Yeah, so as we were talking about before the break, look, the Constitution is the most important. It is the most important thing ever written by a person besides the Bible. And you can say, well, the Bible was written by God. Yeah, but you know what? Gutenberg kind of put it on paper, so that's all fine, well, and good. The Constitution is the most important document written by a person ever. Period. It is. It just is. And when you say that Donald Trump wants to limit the First Amendment, not crazy about the Second Amendment, probably not so crazy about the 14th and 15th, maybe the 16th, you have to say to yourself, how do I swallow my pride and vote for him? And the answer is that as a person who understands the thing that I just mentioned, you can't possibly vote for him. You can't. It's just not possible. Look, the Republican Party destroyed communism. It destroyed slavery. It protected the Union and ended the Civil War. You cannot possibly tell me that Donald Trump is fit to sit at the Resolute desk where Ronald Reagan and Abraham Lincoln have sat before him. That's insane. It's just insane to even consider. And then you get into the fact that he would have sex with Putin if he could. And
yeah. That's, what you just said, I had I had my GOP guys. I came back this year. I left the GOP a long time ago. I came back this year. I had my GOP guys, but
welcome
my
back.
favorite
the nominee is Donald Trump.
I'm gone again. But my favorite candidate of the entire election is Austin Peterson, and he's a constitutional conservative, and he will say it straight up. He'll say, "I do not agree with every amendment that we have, but I do agree that they are amendments and they must be enforced, and they're there, and that's it. It's our Constitution."
And that's how I feel about a lot of things that are rule of law questions. Like when people talk about abortion or something like that, I go, look, if you don't like it, make it illegal. But right now, it's the law.
Right.
And that's how it works. In this country, we are a nation of laws, as Donald Trump is so fond of saying. We are a nation of laws. We are a nation of borders. Okay? If you don't like the law, there is a representative democracy for which you can address these grievances. That is exactly the reason we have Congress. If you don't like the law, then you change it. It's not written in permanent ink. So, like I said, the First Amendment is so important, and there's a reason that it's first. There's a reason that it's the First Amendment. There's a reason it's in bigger letters and everything else. There's a reason for this, because they knew that without a substantial free press, there is no possible way that citizens can be informed of the goings-on in this country. Now, people can say, well, we got Twitter and we got Facebook and, I got iMessage and, my grandma, can send me confetti things on iMessage. That's nice. But what happens if the First Amendment gets tinkered with by a President Trump? We're sort of back to this constitution. He says that Hillary Clinton would be a constitutional crisis. I would say that either of them would be, but he would especially be one. Because Hillary Clinton is talking about stacking the Supreme Court to change the Constitution, to change the laws. She's talking about working within the confines of the system. Now, I don't agree with the changes that she'd like to make, but she is working within the confines of the system. She says, look, I don't like the law, so we're going to change it. Okay, good. That's how things work. If you win, if you stack the deck, and you play your cards right, you too can make laws, no matter how insane they are. But Trump is just saying, look, when I'm president, we're going to change all this stuff. And I want to hit on something that I was talking about with somebody the other day. Trump is in Tallahassee, and I want you to tell me what you think about this, because I was just absolutely gobsmacked by this. No one on the planet noticed this but me. Trump is up there in Tallahassee. He's at the dais, and he's talking. And he says, look, we're going to drain the swamp. # drain the swamp. We are going to drain the swamp because we are going to create a new government which is of, for, and by the people. Did you notice the operative word in there? new. We're going to create a new government.
Yes.
He's not talking about fixing it now. Now he's saying we're going to replace it.
We're going to replace it.
He doesn't just want to repeal and replace Obamacare, guys. He wants to repeal and replace the Constitution and the Congress. No bueno.
Yeah, people get on my case all the time for saying it. He's an authoritarian.
Of course
he doesn't. He does not want to come in here and lead the country. He wants to come in here and rule the country.
Correct. That's why he says George Bush. That's why he says George Bush reigned. Remember, he said the Twin Towers came down during your brother's reign when he said to Jeb Bush. Because he thinks that presidents reign. Presidents don't reign. They don't rule.
Right, but
they occupy an office for 4 years, and then maybe they get to do it for another 4.
He says that, and he has really kind of slammed GW. But you know what? The man was handed something 6-7 months into his presidency that no president has ever been handed before
since Roosevelt.
Since Roosevelt, exactly.
And then before that, Lincoln.
Yeah. I mean, really, honestly, we were attacked with an attack that was planned well before Bush's presidency, and he had to deal with it. And you know what? He dealt with it real well. And I really honestly do believe that his presidency would have been pretty amazing had it not been for 9/11. I do. I may be a little bit of a fanboy, but I really like the guy. I really do. And I like
George Bush as a person. I don't particularly like him as a president, though.
Yeah, but do you not like him as a president?
I do like his 9/11 speech, though. I hear you. The world hears you.
It was great, but
that was
do you not like him as a president because of how his presidency went, or do you not like him as a president because of how it maybe could have been?
How it went.
See?
TSA, Homeland Security, Patriot Act, no bueno.
Right, and I agree with you. No bueno. I totally agree with you.
I think he's great.
But what would his presidency have been if 9/11 hadn't happened? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, here's the deal. Great presidents rise to the occasion. They're not. They don't just get the job, right? Great presidents are made. They're not. What if Lincoln didn't have to deal with the Union breaking apart? What if there was no Depression? Roosevelt probably would have got 1 term, if that. What if there was no Iran hostage crisis? Jimmy Carter might have been a 2-term president. I see what you're saying. Great, like I said, great presidents, they rise to the occasion, and in some cases they rise above it. Others fall to the wayside, like Carter and Nixon, perhaps even Eisenhower, I guess. I mean, he's just kind of forgettable, I suppose. But
the first Republican that Reagan voted for.
Correct.
What you're saying, and I mean, I think
Bush
really
rose to the occasion as best as he could have. I think.
Yeah, and with any president and all presidents, and this will kind of lead us back to Trump. It all comes down to
can you see a president Trump doing that?
Who you surround yourself with, and I'm not going to say that GW made bad choices, but in the moment, I mean, I do think there were some people around him that were opportunistic with it.
Cheney.
Yeah.
I think George W. I mean, I don't really want to relitigate George Bush's presidency, but basically, I think the problem was that he trusted too many of the people that his dad trusted.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't
Ashcroft,
disagree with you
Cheney,
there.
you know, Rumsfeld, Karl Rove. You know, I mean, a lot of those guys were all recycled people from his dad and to some extent Reagan's time. You know, so I think one of his best hires was Alberto Gonzales. To be really honest with you,
I know I agree with you there, and there's a great man. It was on the Opie and Anthony show, and they had Louis C.K. on, and they had Rumsfeld on the phone, and Louis C.K. wouldn't give up asking Rumsfeld why and how he pushed things as a alien lizard.
That's pretty awesome.
It was great. And I don't know if everybody out there knows Louis C.K. He's a comedian and he's pretty damn funny, but he kept pushing it, and Rumsfeld just kept rolling through with the interview, and it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean he did. I mean, your father was president. Why wouldn't you take advice from your father? You know, it's. I just think I think that whole presidency, had 9/11 not happened, I think things would be very different right now. And I think
George Bush would have been a forgettable president had 9/11 not happened.
And maybe he would have been. But I like the guy, and I think he would have done a good job. You know, some people say that 9/11 made him. Some people say that 9/11 destroyed him. I don't know which way to look at it.
Oh, I definitely say 9/11 made him. He was totally defined by it. Totally, I think.
Maybe.
And I think I think you can argue that hindsight's always 20/20, right? You sit here and argue about what should Bush have done differently, what might he have done. The answer is I don't know. What if George Lucas had never made the Star Wars prequels, right? Like what movies might he have made besides that? What if Marlon Brando would have lived another 30 years? I don't know. What I do know is that on September, and I think that this is, some people are going to say this is unfair, but I'm going to say it anyway. On September 12th, 2001, I don't see a President Trump going to the middle of Manhattan and giving that speech. I'm just going to say it. I don't see it. I don't see a President Donald Trump rising to the occasion. I can't see it. I can't pretend to see it. Maybe that's because I think that he's a deceitful old lizard, but that's me.
Well, and I don't see that either, and I don't see Al Gore being that guy, and I don't see Obama being that guy.
I think somebody might have speech wrote something for Obama, though.
Maybe.
I just can't see Trump even.
Do you see?
I know I'm supposed to.
No, I don't either. I
know I'm supposed to be quiet here producing, but I got to tell you, I know about that speech at 9/11 at Ground Zero. That was 100% off the cuff.
I didn't say it wasn't.
I know. But
yeah.
And that's what amazed me about it, is that was truly from the heart and off the cuff. And somebody just basically stuck a bullhorn in his hand and said, "Go say a few words." And the next thing he knows, he's standing on top of a fire truck talking.
Well, yeah, and he can walk out to a pitcher's mound and actually throw a pitch, Obama.
Well, thank God we don't pay them to throw baseballs. But
yeah,
the thing about Trump that
I'm
just
butting
gets
out
me,
now.
The thing that gets me about Trump is the dishonesty, the disloyalty, the heartlessness of him. He's an incredibly spiteful and heartless old man. And I'm telling you, I mean, if there were a man who were ever destined to play Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, it would be Donald Trump. He is made, that's the role he was born to play. because that's exactly what he is, a spiteful little billionaire. And it's, for me, it's the constitutional thing that wins me over every time, and that's why I'm going to vote for McMullen. And if I can't vote for McMullen, I'm not going to vote, because I don't believe that Hillary, look, at the end of the day, I'm just going to tell you, I think Hillary Clinton would still be better than Donald Trump, because I'm not 100% convinced that Trump's motives are even good. Hillary Clinton's whole life has just been stabbing people to get this job. I don't think she'd really do anything really too crazy to screw it up. But you never know. But
to be honest with you, I think she's less progressive than Obama.
What we know is that she's a phony.
I will not vote for her. There's no way I will. And here in North Carolina, I can't vote for McMullen. If I write McMullen in, it voids the rest of my ballot. I mean, honestly, if I go in there and decide I have to vote for president, I'll just vote for Johnson. What the hell? I can't even vote for Stein. I have friends. No, I can't, because she's not on the ballot here. She's
an idiot anyway.
She's not on the ballot. McMullen's not on the ballot, and you can't write anybody that's not approved as a write-in, and neither of them are approved. So you know what? I am going to vote for Pot Brownie. That's who I'm going to vote for. You know why? Do you know why? Because they say you need to vote for the lesser of two evils. You know what? I'll vote for the not evil. He's not evil. He's just a freaking dude. He's just a freaking stupid dude that wants to sit and freaking smoke weed. Exactly. I mean, he's not evil. So I won't vote for the lesser of two evils. I'll just vote for the not evil.
Yeah. Somebody I know made a really great point. Trump actually would probably do a 9/11 speech, but he'd probably make the speech all about him.
He would. He'd go, I had holdings destroyed in this, and people really need to give. It's terrible. It's really affected me. It's really affected me. It's really affected my brand. This is just a horrible thing. Exactly.
Dicks out for Donald Trump.
I look at this whole thing, and it's just sad. I mean, I've said it the other day, that everybody is literally pushing a scumbag to put them in the West Wing to keep a scumbag out of the East Wing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's 20 days after the election, he has a RICO trial. Everybody talks about Hillary. Hillary's bad. I mean, I've known it forever. I don't need WikiLeaks to tell me that Hillary is bad. I really don't. And we have a candidate that needs WikiLeaks to put him pretty close to maybe challenging her. How sad is that? We need Assange to actually help the GOP nominee to get close to Hillary in the election. The most corrupt candidate in history, because people don't like Trump that much. He needs Assange to help him. This is the most screwed up election, and the rest of the world is laughing at us. I mean, there was an ad in, I think it was Denmark, that they ran. It's an ad on buses for Americans traveling there that says, make sure you vote. and they're these tandem wheel buses. And the back of the bus is Trump's head, and the two wheels on the back are googly eyes. So when the bus is moving, it's Trump with googly eyes. The rest of the world is making fun of us.
That's pretty damn funny, though.
Yeah, it is. I saw it, and
I'm
I
not
said,
gonna
that's
lie, that's
freaking
pretty
brilliant. It's freaking brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant, but the rest of the world is absolutely making fun of us. It's sad. How are we here? We are here because of, I like to call it, Anger Inc.
So,
Hannity, Rush, freaking Coulter, all of them. That's why we're here. Look at Sean Hannity's show. Look at his radio show. Who is his biggest sponsor? LifeLock. His biggest sponsor is LifeLock. And what does he do? He sits there and praises WikiLeaks.
Yeah. I thought that was funny. I think you and one other person noticed that. I hadn't caught that. I forgot about that. That was very clever that you noticed that.
It's ridiculous.
I totally didn't catch that.
It's insane. He was doing it again tonight. I had Fox on earlier while I was doing stuff around here trying to get ready.
Darcy tonight. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, you got 3 minutes, so wrap it up. And I already got the outro queued up because I got something special for the outro tonight. Just for a final stab at Clinton.
The election's on Tuesday, 4 days away. Who wins and what states do they take? Predictions.
Who? Hillary wins.
I have mine.
Hillary wins, and the key states she takes are mine, North Carolina. She takes Florida, and she takes Michigan, and I think Evan McMullen takes Utah. Okay.
I have, I'm going to go with this on record. I'm going to say 314-224. That would be Hillary to Trump. Hillary's going to take Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Michigan, Wisconsin, New Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, New Hampshire, and Maine.
See, I
believe he wins North Carolina. I believe at the end of the day he wins North Carolina.
I don't think so. I talk to too many people here. I really don't think so.
The polling is very close. The polling is very close, admittedly. I gave him North Carolina just to be charitable. But I would say if that goes away, I would not be surprised. But that's what I think he loses Florida. I don't think he keeps Florida at all.
But see, I'm more focused here really on hoping and praying and working on McCrory keeping the state house because this state is screwed if McCrory goes away. And he's getting screwed because everybody says, oh, well, look, he sent the ACC away. He didn't send the ACC away. He just doesn't want freaking men in the bathrooms with our daughters. Screw the ACC. Screw the NBA. I don't care if they don't bring shit here. Oh, I did it. I'm the one that did it.
Usually it's me.
Can you tell how mad I am at where my state is going right now?
That one I can let go, guys. Just don't forget your social media contact information so people can yell at you online.
All right. You can find me at 1911G_fan on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, but it's a private account. And if you find me, my name's Dan Wright, and I know you, I will reciprocate. Bill?
I'm on Twitter at Defend Wall Street. I hate Facebook. I hate LiveJournal. I hate all that other stuff. So you can find me on Twitter, but if you're a fan of Donald Trump, do yourself a favor. Don't try to argue with me, because I'll just call you a pinhead.
All right, well, that's it. Everybody have a great evening, and take it away, Jesse.
You got it. I'm just loading one last audio file just for the fun of it. I'm reviving an old, fun one from... it's a little old, but it's still relevant. Just gotta find where it stashed itself. Of course I'd have problems the one time I'm trying to pull something off real quick. There we go. Found it. All right.
She's a very slinky girl, the kind you don't want for Commander-in-Chief. She will never let her guard down, says it's her turn to be leader. Oh girl, she likes her emails to be secret. She says it's none of your damn business. When she makes her move to conceal it, Miss Half-Time, she's never done no wrong. Oh no, that girl is pretty brave now. The girl's a super sneak, the kind of girl you vote for. Liberals are so weak. That girl is pretty sleazy. The girl's a super sneak. I'd really love to trust her, but I'm not that weak. She's not right, not that bright.